Hello, I'm Marlis Arnold, trade show marketing consultant and author of the book, Build a Better Trade Show Image. Welcome to the Trade Show Insights podcast with news, tips, and tools to expand your knowledge of exhibiting. Today we're talking about 3 costly mistakes that you need to avoid when gathering and managing trade show leads. No matter whether you're brand new to exhibit marketing or have been exhibiting at trade shows for years, there's one area where your mistakes are costing you big time. Connecting with leads or prospects, that's the real reason for exhibiting at any show, so if you're not doing that part right, you might as well stay home. So costly mistake number 1, failing to define what makes a qualified lead. When you exhibit, do you come home with a stack of business cards that you call leads? You're just fooling yourself. A lead is not a piece of paper or business card with a name and contact information. Instead, it's a solid contact that's predetermined to have a high probability of producing future sales revenue. A qualified lead for your business might be based on the size of their budget, their timeline for purchasing, if they're even serious about your product at all, or their role in the buying decision. And once you've determined all the characteristics that make a qualified lead, you can create a list of questions that need to be answered about each person who comes into the booth, even if you're using badge scanners to collect that contact information. If you're coming home with just a name and a phone number, you're missing the point and the potential sale. Costly mistake number 2, avoiding objections or not pre-planning how to overcome them. Now, most exhibitors know how to present information about their products or services, but they often get flustered when attendees begin to raise objections. So here are some tips, as presented in my book, Build a Better Trade Show Image, on how you can smoothly handle objections without losing the prospect. Begin by acknowledging the objection and empathize with the attendee's concerns. You might say something like, "I'm glad you brought that up. I can appreciate how you feel. And many of our customers felt that same way, but they discovered that." You can ask questions to clarify and determine the true obstacle. Often you'll discover an entire series of objections that are simply a smokescreen for their ultimate concern, which is likely fear, risk, or cost. Treat each question as an opportunity. If they weren't truly interested, they wouldn't bother to raise objections. Present alternative solutions. Ask, "If I could eliminate that problem for you, is there anything else holding you back?" If that's their true objection, then you've calmed their fears. If there's something else that's bothering them, they'll tell you that too. If you don't know how to answer the question, be honest and admit that you don't know. Never try to bluff them. You should know who else on your team might have the answer and bring them into the conversation. If that's not possible, then write down the attendee's question and affirm that you'll get back to them as soon as you have an answer. Then do what you say. Costly mistake number 3, not having a system for following up with leads. It's amazing how even seasoned exhibitors who do an awesome job at the show often struggle with follow-up skills. Here's some results from just one show that I attended. Only 2 companies followed up within a week after the show, both with brief emails. Now, why can't all exhibitors do this? Email is a quick and relatively inexpensive way, and at least it keeps the company name fresh in the attendee's mind. 2 weeks after the show, 4 more companies followed up, yet still several of those I was most interested in had failed to contact me. By week 3, everyone should have followed up. No excuses. But after 3 whole weeks, less than 50% had made any contact at all. I was still waiting for information from one of the most splashy exhibitors and another one who had promised a catalog and sample kit. Now, the rest of those exhibitors probably didn't go into the show planning to ignore the leads. At least, let's hope not. Following up shouldn't be incredibly difficult or expensive. In fact, it should be the part you look forward to because having a list of qualified leads to follow up with means that you did your job well at the show. It all goes back to having a lead management strategy in place before the show ever starts and being disciplined to stick to a quick follow-up timeline after the show. Want to avoid these lead management mistakes and more? You can. Earlier this month in the Exhibit Marketers Cafe, we covered how to gather and nurture leads, as well as how to get marketing and sales in sync to create an effective lead management system. Become a member now at exhibitmarketerscafe.com to access these recordings and action guides. Trade Show Insights is protected by the Creative Commons copyright license. You may feel free to share this recording with colleagues as long as it is shared in its entirety and is not used for commercial purposes. To learn more, please see the link in the show notes. Well, that's it for this episode of Trade Show Insights. Be sure to check out our show notes at tradeshowinsights.com. Until next time, I'm Marlis Arnold. Thanks for listening.